You've seen Tank 1, you've seen Tank 2. Now 8849 by Unihertz has released Tank 3, by far the chunkiest of the tanks. We'll talk about that in a moment. Link will be in the description. $4.99 to $5.51 on AliExpress because of their goofy pricing. I'm sure there'll be sales on it throughout the year, so just keep checking it and you'll see a discount at some point. It is a bit of a step up in price from the previous tanks, and I do think that's because of the performance. The Tank 3 has a MediaTek Dimensity 8200. I have to tell you, performance has been pretty darn good. Nice and smooth, runs the 120 hertz without an issue. Also, gaming performance has been pretty darn good, and all the other stuff that you'd be doing as well. 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage with, and this is a big point of contention for a lot of people with the previous tanks, micro SD card expandable storage up to 2 terabytes, so you could fill this guy to your heart's content. You'll notice the size. If you haven't seen a tank before, that's because this guy has a 23,000 milliamp hour battery cell in it. You take your regular flagship smartphone for 2023, about 5,000 milliamp hours, where you get about 4.5 times that in the tank. So you could see how much you'll be able to use it without having to charge. Another big upgrade on the tank this year, the Tank 3, is it now features 120 watt fast charging, which on a battery of this size makes a tremendous difference. You can get a full charge on this 23,000 milliamp hour battery in 90 minutes. 90 minutes from zero to fully charged, and then you won't have to charge it again for a week. I mean, depending on your use. I used to quote actual times and screen on times with the tank, but it becomes so hard to do. 5G device, everybody's 5G usage is different. Going outside, whatever it happens to be, if you're on Wi-Fi, battery, all that stuff is different for everybody. So it's very tough on an outsized battery like you have on the tank to quote a number. I will say for me, it lasts well over a week. For you, it might be different, but everybody's going to have their uses. But the great thing about that is that if you are a hiker, if you're somebody that goes out in the woods, first responder, you work construction, you want to keep this in your truck overnight, you're not going to have to worry about it the next day coming into a phone with a dead battery. So that's great. So if you want to go out in the woods for a weekend, even a week, I don't know, there's people who hike for weeks at a time. You could take something like this and have to worry a little bit less about having enough juice in your phone. Let's talk about the performance. Like I said, the Dimensity 8200, really no issues there. Face unlock on the Unihertz device. And Android 13, you're going to notice that as well, which runs great. What was the game? Yeah, Asphalt 9. I was playing a lot of Asphalt 9. No issues whatsoever. Great frames. Decent experience. Gaming was okay on this. It's power efficient. That's the one thing I've loved about the MediaTek Dimensity processors, is that they've all been relatively power efficient these past few years. And it really helps with a phone like this that has the outsized battery, getting that extra little bit of oomph out of it while still maintaining the battery life that you'd expect. And that's really what you pay for something like this, because there is a tremendous trade-off in the pocketability, in that you can't really pocket this one. Let me show you the other ones just for comparison. Here's Tank 2, and here's Tank 1, which wasn't exactly on a salad diet. Tank 1 had a 20,000 something milliamp hour battery as well. Tank 2 lowered the battery slightly, but introduced us to the projector that it had there. So you can use it in your tent, you can put a movie on the wall, whatever it happens to be, and you had the warm camping lamp. The Tank 3's claim to fame, besides being big, but before we get rid of Tank 1, let's just show you the difference here. So this is Tank 1, which was already a stretch. It was £1.25, not exactly a phone that you'd want in your pocket. Though some people, it worked. You could fit this in your jeans pocket, you could fit it in a bag, it still worked. It was still relatively pocketable. Let's take a look at the two of these together, though. It's almost 50% larger. I mean, it's tough to see at this angle, but it is huge in comparison. Huge in comparison. So this is absolutely disqualified, Tank 3, from any sort of pocket that I can imagine. Unless you have suspenders, unless you're in the military and you have those things that you put like extra magazines on, that is like a system, like the belt system that you put on your body. There's a name for it. I'm just forgetting what it is. Unless you have that and you strap it in, it is very, very difficult to wear this around. And what I like to do with the tanks is I go out, I bowl on Wednesday nights, I just hand it to people. I open it up, I hand them this device, I say, what do you think? Just give me your just raw opinion right off the bat. Would you carry this around? Tank 1 at £1.25. People were on the fence about it. But given the battery life, given the features, they're like, you know what, for the price, I would take a chance. So there were enough people that said they would carry this around. There were very few that said they would carry around the Tank 3. And that's not a knock. This is a well-built device. The software experience on Android 13 is good. I love the extra RAM. I love the performance. The camera, we'll throw up a shot. The camera's pretty good. It's probably the best camera I've seen on a Unihertz device. 200 megapixels. You still get the night vision as well. There's lots to like about it. It's just so big. So unless you're somebody who knows and loves these devices and goes in with that mentality, 666 grams, a pound and a half for the Tank 3. Pound and a half. Go to your local Target or your Walmart, go in the fitness section, and get those little running weights. And pick up that pound and a half, 2 pound or whatever, and walk around the store with it. That's what it's like using this phone. After using this, it was like in Little League when I was a kid. You put a donut on the bat, make it heavier, so that way you swing a little bit lighter when it's your turn to go up. When I put this down and picked up my iPhone, it was like the iPhone was weightless. So I just don't know. You really have to have a messenger bag, some sort of tool bag. That's what you're going to be doing with this. This is a working phone. This is a hiking phone, and it's a working phone. It's not like the other tanks where you could kind of get away with it being a consumer level device as well. I think this is solely in the pro level device where you're somebody who needs the features. You need the rugged IP68 dust and water resistance. You need that camping lamp on the back, the spotlight, the night vision. You need this rugged device in order to carry this around. So now, it doesn't have the projector on the top, but it does have this little port here. That's for the laser measuring, laser distance, up to 40 meters, which is quite nice. It works well. We'll go ahead and go in there. See, Unihertz is great as well recently. No bloatware, nothing, just the toolbox that is quite useful. So we'll go in, measure height. Where is it in here? I think it is. Oh, no, you could do it right from the quick toggle. I forgot. So we'll turn on rangefinder. Here it is. And you could do a bunch of different things with this. And we'll go ahead and try to get the camera to focus in here on the other ones. You can measure distance. That's straight line distance. The laser basically shoots out the front. It reflects back, and it measures the distance. You could do area measure. You take 2 measurements, and it'll give you the area of a room. Volume measure, you give it 3, and it'll do that. And Pythagorean model, if you want, as well on there. You measure so let's go ahead, measure your triangles and stuff. But it's really cool. If your volume measure is useful, if you're somebody that works, if you're looking in an area or something like that, area measure is great. When Home Depot came out to basically do the carpeting for our new house, they had something just like this. They had a tablet that had a laser measure. They did a few laser measurements, added it up, and that's what they got. So these are useful for HVAC people. You're in the field, you're a construction worker, you're a contractor, you work for Home Depot, something like that. You need something that measures room sizes, then it comes in handy. But just know it is absolutely massive, and that is basically the selling point. I do like that you get a lot of the creature comforts, like 120 hertz. Screen is decently okay, not the most color accurate Unihertz display that I've seen, but performance is the best out of any Unihertz device that I've used, and the camera is certainly the best out of any Unihertz device I've used. You got the regular camping lamp, like I said, the warning lamps, which, if you pull up in the toolbox, show the warning simulation where it's got the red and blue flashing. Here's a warning from Uncle Steve. Unless you want to be arrested here in the United States, do not use that to impersonate any sort of law enforcement. You go around the side here, you have the buttons, the quick toggles for the lamps themselves, volume up and down, fingerprint sensor on the side. It's just a headphone jack as well. It's a beefy boy. I personally am a fan of the Tank series, but this is not one that you're going to be able to put in your pocket. So if you're a regular consumer, I'd say really look at the Tank 2. I think that's the sweet spot for most people. But if you are somebody who is going to use all the features, the extra battery life, because the battery's a bit bigger, but not only that, the Dimensity 8200 is a little bit more efficient than they had in the Tank 1, so you're going to get improved battery performance out of that device. If you're in for it, if you know what you're getting out of a device, and it's a device that you know you're going to use all these features, and you need that kind of rugged and the weight or whatever else, this is your phone. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have a Steve Lucius day.